Hi everyone, in this project we're gonna first map the distribution of toxic release inventories and then select those sites that produce dioxin in Ohio. Dioxin is a highly toxic and carcinogen compound that can also cause serious damages to immune system of our body. We're gonna first look at the distribution of toxic release sites in Ohio and then color code and also count them based on industry, and then we will investigate which industry in Ohio releases higher toxic quantities of chemicals of dioxin into surface impoundments. Most of the times the data that you download are not in GIS format, they're not shapefile, they're not raster file. Most of the time they are CSV or comma separated value or Excel spreadsheets. Let's see how we can use the CSV files in ArcGIS. So in Blackboard inside wiki number 3, download the lab3_data.zip. It's a zip file. You have to copy that in lab3 folder and then extract it. So extract it in the same folder. Generally, this file contains 3 different files. The first one is a PDF file, the other one is a shape file, and also there is a CSV or comma separated value with the name of TRI or Toxic Release Inventories. So let's open this CSV file. This CSV is for the year 2017 for more than 5,100 records of data. We also have ID for each location, facility name, street address, city address, county, and also it is only for the Ohio. Okay, state is Ohio. So you also have the data at the zip level, and most importantly you have latitude and longitude information, which enables us to bring the data into GIS. We also have industry sector, so some of them are chemicals, some of the locations are chemicals, some of them are petroleum, they produce food and so forth. And also a variety of attributes. One of the most important one, for example, is number 37, I think. So it shows that whether this location, whether this toxic release inventory is carcinogen or not. So they produce some materials that can cause cancer or not. If you want to see more details, what is the meaning of some fields, you have to look at the PDF file. So in the same folder with the name of basic data file documentation. If you open up the PDF file, so it has description for each field. If you scroll down, for example, here says year, the calendar year in which the reported activities occurred. For example, latitude, the latitude that represent the facility according to EPA's facility registration system. And so you can have a detailed explanation for each field one by one. So we obtained the data from the EPA, which stands for Environmental Protection Agency, for the year 2017. The first question is, how can I bring this CSV file into ArcMap or GIS environment and make a shape file of it? So let's open up your ArcMap. Now let's add the CSV file into the ArcMap. Add data. You have to connect to folder, this PC, Edge, GIS Lab, and OK. Under lab3 data, find the CSV file and then click on add. let's open up this CSV file. If you right click and then open, you can see the same information. So we have year, we have ID of the locations, facility name, county, and also we have latitude and longitude information, which helps us to make a shapefile from this CSV file. The question is how we can make a shapefile from this CSV file. If you right click on this CSV file and then display XY data, here you should keep in mind that X field corresponds to longitude. Okay, you have to select longitude, and Y field corresponds to latitude. And you also need to define the coordinate system for the data. Okay, these data are based on latitude and longitude, so they are in geographic coordinate system. So and also these are the GPS data, so the datum is WGS84. So if you click on edit in the geographic coordinate system, expand word, and then WGS84, the first one, and then click OK and OK. Close this one and OK. So table doesn't have object ID, that's fine. So when we create a shapefile, it automatically creates the object ID or FID for us. So click OK. So now you can see that using GIS we could easily and quickly geocode the data. We had more than 5,000 locations that we were able to show them on the map in few seconds, and that's one of the capabilities of GIS, that you can manage the data very fast. So now you can add also the shapefile of the Ohio counties in the same folder. Add data, counties, Ohio, add. This shapefile, this is not a shapefile, this is just a graphic and it's temporary, which means that if I close ArcMap, I won't see it again. Okay, I will lose this shape, I will lose this data. So the word event here means that it's temporary. How can I make this permanent? To have a shapefile, to have a permanent shapefile of the toxic release inventory, you have to export it. Right click on that, data, export data, and then export from all features of all of the points on the map. It's not selected features. And then navigate to labs 3 folder and save it as a toxic release inventories _ toxic release inventories. Okay, save it as a shape file, save, and okay. Add it into ArcMap, and now you can remove these two events and also the CSV file. So you can remove both of them by right click on here. So this one is permanent. So this is how you can convert CSV file, or if you have text file, or if you have Excel file. Most of the data that you download are in the CSV, text, or Excel file, but they have location information such as latitude and longitude. So you can bring them into ArcGIS and map them and show the spatial distribution of the locations. In the next step, we're gonna only select locations that produce dioxin and or dioxin-like compounds. So how can I select records based on attribute? If you open up the attribute table of TRI, and I think field number 30, this one. So this field contains chemicals that these sites produce. Some of them release, for example, lithium. Some of them release nickel, and so many other compounds. So we're gonna only select the locations that produce the dioxin. Okay, so how can I do that? If you go to the selection menu and then select by attribute, so here you can write a query, I'm going to select all of the records, all of the locations that in those locations chemicals or 30 underscore chemical equals to dioxin, right? So you have to say that chemicals equals to dioxin. So as much as you can, do not use your keyboard, just select, because ArcGIS is very sensitive to the name of the fields. So this is field number 30, so find this, double click on that. So this field should be, you don't need to write dioxin, you have to look at the unique values. So if you click on get unique value, now we can find dioxin. So it's so this one is dioxin and dioxin like compounds. So double click on that. So now this is your query, okay? So chemicals should be dioxin, and if you click on verify, it says that the expression was successfully verified. Click OK, apply, and OK. So what happened? You have selected the locations that produce dioxin. If you want to make sure that these are these locations are true, this location produce dioxin, you can click on this icon, show only selected records, to see only the selected records. And then if you go to the field number 30, you can see that all of them are dioxin and dioxin like compounds, okay? And also the other one, which was for carcinogen, dioxin is a carcinogen material. So if you see which one was carcinogen, I think this one, 37, carcinogen. So you can see that all of them are carcinogen, they can initiate cancer. So again, I want to make a shapefile only from the dioxin, selected dioxin toxic release inventories. So close this one, and then right click on the TRI, data, export data. I want to only export the selected locations and make a new shapefile. So just make sure the export is from selected records, and then browse. In lab 3 you can type TRI underscore dioxin, okay, and then save as type shapefile, click save, okay, and then add it into ArcMap. So now you can remove the TRI shapefile. We're going to only focus on dioxin. So these are the locations of the toxic release inventories in Ohio that they release dioxin. In the next step, we want to color code this map based on type of industry that releases the dioxin. So if you open up the attribute table of the TRI dioxin, I think field number 16 has industry that releases the dioxin. Some of them are electric utilities, some of them are chemicals, primary metals, and so forth. We're going to color code this map based on this category. This categoric variable is not a numeric variable. There is not no number in this field. How can I color code these locations based on the type of industry? If you want to change the symbology of this layer, you have to go to the symbology tab, properties, symbology. This field was a categoric field, it wasn't a numerical field. So you have to go to the categories, and here you have to say that based on which field we're gonna make a map, which is based on industry, right? Which was field number 16 as far as I remember. Let me make sure. 16 or 15, 16. So 16, properties, symbology, categories, field number 16, and then to see the values for this field, you click on add all values. So you can see that based on the unique values, it color codes the map. If If you click apply and OK, apply, you can see the results. So it's kind of very, maybe you have to change the color to this one that can differentiate the locations. The colors shouldn't be very similar to each other, so this one kinda is a good option. And also make the symbols, make the locations larger. So if you click on symbol properties, for all symbol you can change the properties for all of them. For example, you can change the size to 8. OK, apply and OK. So you can see that. So for example, here we have chemicals, here it's electrical utilities. Or if this one is not, if both of them are kind of very similar to each other, the color, we can individually change the color. For example, this one, primary metals, let me make it black. Okay, click on that and then change this to black color. Okay, apply. Okay, so you can see that it changed. Okay, so you can individually change the color, or you can change it based on the color ramp. You can select it based on the color ramp. Let's also change the background color and also outline. So if I select, click on this one, the geometry of the layer, the rectangle, and then beige for the fill color, and for the outline color maybe gray 30%, and then OK. So that's our first map. One of the most important fields in this table is field number 54. If you open up the attribute table, field number 54 on site, you can look at the description in the PDF file. Field number 54. So it has an estimate of the total quantity of the chemical released on site into surface impoundment. So you can see that the total quantity of the chemical that is released from each location. So we're gonna make a map based on this one. So let's add another map and make a map based on the total quantity of the chemicals. So click on insert a data frame. We're gonna have two maps. Rename the data frame to quantity, and then copy both of the features. You have to go to this part, list by drawing, and then you can copy both of them here. We're gonna make a graduated symbol map which shows that if a location releases higher quantity of chemicals, we will have larger circle. If a location releases lower quantity, we will have a smaller circle. So to make that kind of map, you have to first make sure it's activated, this data frame is activated, and then go to the symbology tab, quantities, because it's based on the quantity, total amount, total quantity. You have to go to the quantity tab, and then here we can select graduated symbol. So we're gonna make a map based on field number 54, which was the total release of the total quantity of the chemical release. So the field here should be 54, and here you can see that you can label it very low, low, medium, high, very high, or you can have it based on just the numbers, or you can maybe change the number of the significant digit to 2, for example. Okay, and then click apply and OK. So here you can see that. So here you can see that, for example, these areas in this county, you can also add the label for these locations too. Okay, label features, so based on another field, label based on county maybe. So in this county you can see that so you have toxic release inventories that release higher dioxin, okay, in this county. So maybe the label, remove the label. So you can, based on the name of the county, you can see that which counties produce the higher toxic release inventories. Okay. And also, if you now go to the layout view, you can compare the location of counties with the type of industry. So if you put the color coded map on top, so this one top and this one here, and then if you click on full extent for this one and also full extent for the other one, so now we can compare these two locations. For example, this one is chemical here, and also this one has the highest toxic release inventory, the higher amount of release of the dioxin and so forth. So you can compare areas, compare the locations based on the type of the industry. You also need to add a legend for this one and also for this one separately. If the maps are in the same size, so you can use only one insert scale bar, only one scale bar, or only one north arrow is enough. And also put a title here with the name of geographic location of the toxic release inventories that produce dioxin in Ohio. So it can be a title for this map. And your information here, your name, dates, and also source of the data, which was EPA. So another important thing that you can report in your results section is to summarize number of sites for each industry. So if you open up attribute table for toxic release inventories, and then I think field number 16 is industry, right? So we're gonna see how many electric utilities we have, how many primary metals we have. We have to use summary. We have to summarize this field. If you right click on this field and then summarize, so select a field to summarize only this field 16, and just go to the lab tree and save it as sum underscore industry, and save it as a, you can save it as a text file, as a database file, or as a text file. Let me select the text file and then save and OK, and it wants to add it to the arc map. Yes. So let's open it here to see what is the result. So you can see that, for example, for chemicals we have eight of these locations are chemical. Electric utilities, 11 locations are electric utilities, and so forth. So you can copy, so it's a summary of the data, and you can put this table in the write-up in the results section. You can also open this with the Excel file. It's a text file, we save that here. So you can open this file with the Excel file and then put it in your write-up in the results section.